Hi guys, and welcome to Rufus and Doofus. Chico here, and guess where Rufus is? Let me show you. On the couch. Yeah, that's his favorite spot. Always there. So, why am I making this video today? Actually, I'm making this video today kind of quick and dirty, because for some reason, all of a sudden, I'm getting questions about television in the RV, smart TVs, 12-volt TVs especially, how I should get one, and how people are looking at a 12-volt TV, and blah, 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 and all that stuff. So I wanted to make a quick video and just give you my opinion on that and what I've discovered with my research. By the way, pardon the mess around here. I've been kind of cleaning, and then I got looking at my comments and stuff and decided, hey, I want to do this while it's fresh in my mind. All right, when I was looking at TVs for the RV, I was kind of into that 12-volt thing too, and I was looking about, for these 12-volt TVs, marine TVs. There is one advantage to the marine TVs, and that's that they're built to be bounced around, and also their circuitry has usually some sort of a coating that they spray on it to keep the water, salt water, I imagine more than regular water, because humidity is in the air everywhere, but salt water especially, from corroding any components that are critical to the functioning of the electronics. But by the same token, the newer TVs, the smart TVs, are also all solid state. You can bounce them around, you can view them upside down every which way but Sunday, and they work really, really well. Disadvantage 12-volt TVs. Here's one in particular: size. All right, they only make them up to a certain size, and it isn't very big at all. Okay, so that's one disadvantage. The other disadvantage is that they're quite expensive. They charge you a big premium for that 12-volt feature, and it's really funny because all the TVs actually run off of 12 volts or a low voltage DC, and then they actually have to bring it from AC and bring it down to the DC. So that's kind of strange that more of the manufacturers just don't make an adapter so that you could plug it into your cigarette lighter. But then again, who's going to have a 50-inch smart TV in a car with blocking the windshield? That ain't going to happen. So maybe they just didn't think far enough ahead. But here's the good news. How did I address the problem? All right. Now, as many of you guys know, I want to go to quartzsite, I want to do boondocking and things like that. So I want a television, and I want to be able to watch it when I want to watch it. I don't want to run my generator all the time. No, because wear and tear in the generator, runs gas, noisy, the whole 9 yards. I want to run it off of my batteries. And in order to run it off the batteries, okay, we're talking an inverter. Now, inverters are great. And I think a lot of people, when they think about an inverter, and they go to a solar system, or even if they're just, accumulating power from when they do run their generator or their vehicle on the road, from the batteries, one way or another, they're probably thinking this big old inverter. And probably rightfully so, from the propaganda that's out there. Nobody wants to sell you a little inverter, no. They want to sell you a big inverter, the bigger the better, pure sine, the whole 9 yards, right? Oh well, guess what? You don't need a big inverter. My 43-inch smart TV, which I'm going to show you in a second, you guys have seen it before where I mounted it and all, uses about 27 watts of energy. And if you do the math, and if you divide 27 watts by 12 volt, it's going to give you your amp hours. All right, so what's that? 12, whatever, it's like 6, somewhere around there. 6 times 2 is 12, yeah, 72, something like that. And very little. So that's your amp hours. And if you've got a good sized battery bank, I have 2 batteries. They're 6 volts in series golf cart deep cycle batteries. Make sure they're deep cycle batteries. That's another issue we'll talk about someday. But in any case, I can run that TV for hours off of those batteries when you do the math there, okay? Just knowing how many amp hours are in my batteries. So how did I accomplish running that TV from 110 volts and actually running it off of my DC on the batteries? Well, I'm going to show you right now, okay? Don't go away. All right, there's my TV, 43 inches, okay? And there is my power setup. right now I'm plugged in, so I'm running off of 110 volts with no problem at all. When I'm not plugged in, you're going to see on the booster that's for the antenna booster, there's a 12 volt DC outlet. And what I've done is I've taken the 12 volt DC right here and I plugged it into this little Stanley inverter. And if you read it, you're going to see it says 140 watt power inverter and Stanley FatMax. I'll put a link up for this, and I think you'll have no problem running a TV. Just check your wattage on the TV and make sure that it doesn't require any more than that 140 watts. And I'll bet you'll find you can run a 50-inch off of this. Okay, so that's just per my TV. All right, and it's 140 watts. Now you may ask, what's the advantage of that? Well, there's a few advantages. It's so small. Notice where I have it mounted, right up there. It's out of the way, okay? And I don't need to power anything else. I'm not going to power my microwave with that or anything, just the TV. The other advantage is that it's only a 140 watt inverter. So in order for the inverter to do its magic, which is take the 12 volts and convert it to 110, it needs to, it's not an efficient thing. It uses energy to do that. And a little inverter uses a lot less energy than a big inverter. Because a big inverter, let's just say you got a 2,000 watt pure sine top of the line inverter. When you turn that inverter on to run a TV that only uses that amount of power, you are still paying an energy consumption price in one way or another that has to fire up that 1 or 2,000 watt inverter, and that uses a lot of energy. You will feel a lot of heat coming off that, so it's very inefficient, very inefficient. I would rather have a 140 watt inverter up there for my TV, and I have another outlet down here on the floor, and my computer and the hard drive and possibly another monitor, if I wanted to use a DC or an AC monitor, would use a little more than the TV, but still would not require an enormous inverter. So if I wanted to run only my laptop, okay, I could do that easily by just plugging the laptop directly into a DC outlet, which I've provided one right up off of here, which you can't see now, but I'm not even going to show it to you. It's just a DC outlet. Okay, perfectly well. Guess what? One little 140 watt inverter does just about everything I want to do. I don't need to run a blow dryer off an inverter. I don't need to run my microwave off an inverter. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because I have a generator. If I want to run my microwave, and you don't run a microwave for 3 hours, you run a microwave for a couple of minutes. You fire up the generator for a few minutes, and guess what? The generator needs to be exercised anyway, right? We all know that. You don't let your generator sit for months without use it. You make sure that, you know, it still works, and you run it a little bit. I want to heat up a cup of coffee, if quickly, bingo, I can fire up the generator for a few minutes. It doesn't bother me, okay? And I get my cup of coffee. But guess what? I'd rather do that. I'll make a fresh cup of coffee using the propane in my stove. That's even better, right? So, do you need a big inverter? I'd think about it first, unless you're really spoiled and you want to run everything that high power consumptions, hair dryers, toasters, and everything like that off an inverter. Big expense, and for what? Don't really need it. 2 big golf size deep cycle batteries like that, the ones I've got, I can run my TV all night long, and the next day 200 watts of solar panels are going to fill those batteries right back up, because I'm not going to deplete them past 50%, right? So I think I've got close to 250 amp hours of energy in those batteries fully charged. 250 amp hours. I can use 125 of those amp hours before I drop below 50% capacity, and I can charge that back up very easily, and that will run my TV and my computer. All the other things don't need to be run on an inverter. And that's my thoughts, and I'm sticking to it, and today is an exceptionally happy day, and I can't tell you why yet. But you will find out if you keep watching the videos, because there's some really neat stuff coming up, and one repair that needs to be done, and it's going to get done the right way. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give us thumbs up, And please don't forget to subscribe. And guess what? Above all, don't forget to be happy. All right. Bye-bye.